This is trade number 3 and 4 that I took last night at the London Open, which was on July 13th. Let me show you the trades that I took. So I actually took 2 attempts to try and trade this breakout on Euro Swiss franc. I entered at 12.33 and 12.48 for both of these attempts. So this is next day. It's 6:20 p.m. Pacific time right now. So last night at midnight when I took this, you can see the overall day closed as a doji. So it went down, and then it was not able to break out, and it came back up. So at the time I took the trade, we did have the breakout on this bearish 4-hour candle, and yeah, there was actually a lot of volatility on the London Open. The price went down quite quickly, but then as you can see here throughout the London session, it retraced most of its move, and by the New York Open, it went up very sharply. There was some major news that came out today. There was a June CPI report for the US dollar and interest rate decisions for the Canadian dollar. So a lot of volatility today that ended in overall flat trading. But let me show you the precise entries I made on Euro Swiss franc last night. So the volatility is much more clear when you look at the 5-minute chart. As soon as London opened, we had a huge, I think 40 or 50 pip drop right here. So I wasn't sure if I could capture this move. It moved a lot faster than I could catch up with, and there wasn't really a good point for me to set the stop loss, and it was actually getting late in my time, so I was wondering if I should trade this at all. But I was actually watching the 2-minute chart. So you can see it was just continuous selling on the London Open. I took the trade at 12:33 a.m. I was watching this. I was waiting for a retracement here at around 12:20 to 12:30, and then I saw this engulfing bearish candle. It engulfed 2 candles, almost broke the doji. And then I was watching this next 2-minute candle open, and it went down. So I did take a sell. Yeah, I was still, watching for any signs of retracement, and then over the next several minutes, the price action started slowing down. You can see the candles are getting smaller. Eventually, it got to a doji, and I just chose to close the trade preemptively. I think that was maybe like a 5 pip gain. Yeah, about 5 pips. And then for whatever reason, I had the smart idea to try and take another trade. I'll remove the drawings right now so you can see, but I entered exactly on this candle at 12:48. While it was forming, you can see it resulted in a wick down, but while it was forming, I thought it was going to break out again, so I took another sell, and it went right back up within 2 minutes, went into a range for the next 5 minutes or so, and then there's this relatively big bull candle on the 2-minute chart, and that's when I chose to exit. So yeah, 2 attempts to trade this breakout. It was essentially resulted in break even. I won 5 pips, and I think I lost 4 pips. And then I watched the market a little bit more before going to bed, but it was essentially in a trading range. And then, yeah, the breakout essentially didn't happen. So that was Wednesday on the London Open. So a lot of fake breakouts earlier this week in the first half. You can see when New York came around, the volatility went in the bulls' favor, a lot of buying. And then throughout the New York session, it was pretty quiet until the close. So yeah, this is 4 trades so far. You can see my precise entries and exits, and yeah, I essentially ended up at the same account price level that I started with before these 2 trades. Let me talk a little bit about the news that came out Wednesday morning. So this is the major news, the U.S. Consumer Price Index. So the year-over-year and month-over-month price increases were more than expected. And for the Canadian interest rate decision, it was also a 1/4 percentage point more than the consensus. So both of these would indicate that the economy is, or rather the inflation is hitting the consumer prices more than people are expecting. However, most of the trading day today was flat. Maybe the market is taking time to digest the news, but we'll see what this means for the US and Canadian dollars. Maybe people will think the Fed is going to hike more aggressively than previously thought. Maybe even a 3/4 of a point hike in this month rather than the 1/2 point. And also for the Canadian dollar, right? We already saw from today's news, it's already 1/4 point higher than expected. So maybe other central banks around the world are, going to feel the urgency to hike their rates as well. So we'll see in the next coming days what this will mean for the currency pairs. This afternoon, actually, there's already some breakouts happening. I'm actually in 2 more trades. I'm in EURCAD and USD JPY. Those look to be breaking out. Yeah, both of these pairs have been consolidating for a while. We're seeing USD JPY breakout right now, and also the EURCAD. If you remember, I tried selling it earlier this week, but I ended up in a break-even trade, and it looks to be breaking out again. So we'll see if it happens for real this time.